Welcome to US Classic Muscle Cars. Please enjoy this next video, but before that, please subscribe, like us, give us a thumbs up, share our videos. Thanks.
Hello there, my name is Jim Suva and this is my 1977 Pontiac Firebird Esprit. It's a tribute car from the Rockford Files. I've owned this car since 2002 and I have been a Rockford File fan for many, many years, ever since the original show came on. This car is pretty much a factory car with the factory paint, buckskin. The interior has never been really touched. There's two areas that have been replaced because of wear and tear, which is this area and this piping. Otherwise, the car is pretty much original from General Motors as it is. The only difference between a factory, a car that James Gardner actually drove on the show, is that steering wheel, and that steering wheel was a Formula style rally wheel, and he had the regular custom deluxe wood grain steering wheel.
Were you a big fan of the Rockford Files?
Yep, very big fan. I started off watching the show because my dad was a big fan of James Gardner. He told me this show was on. I started watching it, and I fell in love with the Firebird Esprit that he was driving for the first season. The cars were Firebird Esprits for the first season, and starting with the second season, they actually became Firebird Formulas. And the reason they went to Firebird Formulas is because they needed a tougher suspension to do tricks, as James Gardner would put it, and like the J-turn that he did so many times in the Rockford Files, starting in season 2 through season 6. This car has a 305 V8 two-barrel engine, automatic transmission, air conditioning. It's got the deluxe interior. In 2010, a TV show called Pioneers of Television had done an interview with James Gardner and Stephen J. Cannell. Now, Stephen J. Cannell was one of the original creators of the show, writer, producer. They filmed their interviews in February of 2010, and in September of 2010, I was hired by a company called BT Media, who had produced and written the Pioneers of Television show, and they asked me to take me in the car up to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where we filmed me driving the car as James Gardner, and they spliced in my driving footage of my car with James Gardner and Stephen Cannell's interview. The important thing about this was this is the very last interview ever given on TV, on camera, by James Gardner and Stephen Cannell. We filmed, I believe it was September 10th, and in a week, 2 weeks later, Stephen Cannell passed away. And then of course James Gardner didn't pass away until 2014. But he rarely did any other interviews after, never, as far as I know, never did any other interviews at all. So,
how's the car to drive?
Car is great because it brings you right back to 1977. I mean, there's no fancy stuff on it like a lot of the new cars have nowadays. So it still has a carburetor system, so it takes a while to warm up before you get going. Air conditioning still works beautiful, and you get a lot of thumbs up by people. And it's just a really cool car to drive, and it really takes you back. In fact, the radio on it has an antenna in the windshield, so as you're driving, when you go on any power lines, it slowly cuts out and comes back in. Typical 1970 style radio. Now, an interesting part of this is the year after we filmed that, we had a Rockford File reunion out in Paradise Cove. And James Gardner was writing his memoir, just finished writing his memoir at the time with John Winokur. And what he did was, I met John at Paradise Cove, and I gave him my visor, and he took the visor to James Gardner's house, where he had it autographed for me. I also have additional autographs on the visors of people that worked on the show and also starred on the show. Again, the important thing to remember, this car is about 85% original General Motors, factory correct.
Now, this is a replica.
Yeah, this is actually a replica, or what people call the tribute car.
So do you have any of his business card replicating machines? Remember they would keep in the
Well,
trunk?
you know what's funny is we're at, actually right now we're at the Cruisin' Tigers Indian Uprising, the 29th annual Indian Uprising. And I'm one of the co-chairs along with Paul Weinstein. And normally I have it all set up, and I actually have a replica of that actual printing press. I even put the wood underneath it, stained it pretty much the way it was. Normally it is actually in the car, but unfortunately I brought the car real quick and I did not bring that with me today. But we do have James Gardner, as you saw at the beginning, a cutout, which my wife gave me for my birthday a couple years ago. And and I was kind of worried about bringing it to a show, but it turned out to be such a big hit because everybody wants to take pictures with them.
Right.
Mostly ladies, of course, but there's a few guys that do take pictures. So.
Can we take a look at the engine?
Sure. These are replica license plates of the plates that were on the car when James Gardner. The 853 stands for August 1953, which I believe is the first acting job that James Gardner got. OK is Oklahoma, and G for Garner.
Oh, that's cool to know. That's very cool to know. And
Now,
so what are we looking at here?
Okay, this is a 305 V8 two-barrel engine. It's actually a Chevy engine because back in the mid-70s they started going with corporate engines for cars. Pontiac had a 301, which was in some of the cars, and some of the cars had 305s. So this one has a 305. It's got 71,000, just over 71,000 miles on it right now.
Now, have you had any fun in parking lots doing reverse 180s?
You know, it's funny because when I did the film shoot for Pioneers of Television, they actually asked me that, and I said, no, I don't, because I don't have the money to repair a transmission because I know I'd wreck it with going, because, you know, the car is so many years old already. So, I baby her a lot and stuff. So.
Sure, that's great.
I hope you enjoyed that last video. We have plenty more where that came from. Tons of playlists on Chevelles, Corvettes, Novas. You can find exactly what you're looking for. Enjoy it. Subscribe to us. Enjoy the next video.